Hello, 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 and welcome to yet another TRC podcast. In fact, it is the final one of this year.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys are aware.
Did not know that.
Last one of the year. That's it.
So we get to see.
That's all she wrote.
We get to say like this is the typical see you next
well,
year.
we have the Q&A
We'll do it on
Thursday.
Yeah. Well, you know, for those who don't watch the Q&A but do watch the podcast, I don't know who you are, but I'm sure there's at least one or two of you.
Crazy if they
See you next year, I guess we can say. But yeah, we'll do that at the end of the show, I guess. Anyway, other than that, bad jokes. What do you guys got? What's going on?
Well, a little bit of housekeeping, Dane. Yeah. We did have a sale yesterday. If you guys missed it, right?
It was like just a quick one day.
It was a sneaky sale.
It's like a lightning sale.
It was a sneaky sale because we know that some people during the holidays, especially during Christmas, right? They get a lot of gift cards. Maybe they get some like Visa.
I got some cold hard
cards.
cash.
They get some cold hard cash. They went and deposited some of that money, and maybe or maybe they got a bunch of gifts and they go, "Oh no, I hate all of this," right? Maybe somebody gifted you some Costco microfiber towels and you said, "Oh, I don't use these, but I do need towels, so maybe I'll check the ragcompany.com. Oh my God, 20% off sale, almost everything. That's amazing."
Wow.
And so we had it for one day, just literally, in and out. And obviously it's done now, but it sounded like it went pretty well. And looks like people did place orders who maybe had gotten gift cards and cash, whatever it may be. But it's the things I wanted but didn't get sale.
Yeah, very nice. I like that.
So instead of a Boxing Day sale, we did something a little bit different, but we still had a lot of fun with it. But other than that, though, I mean, we're coming out of Christmas weekend, which is a pretty exciting and eventful time of the year.
Yeah. It was busy. It was very eventful and busy.
It's always that week where everything gets piled together.
Well, and then we had some wild snowstorms.
Yeah, but then today everything's melting.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
I know. I went outside today.
And I went to start my truck, and I was like, and then the wind hit, and it was a warm summer breeze. And I was like,
what is up with
it?
Well,
it was that, and I smelled a little bit of like summer drink, right?
Yeah,
little
weed maker,
coconut, coming in from my garage, and I go,
sand.
What? Is it summer already?
Yeah, Some of you will understand because you've been in areas where you've been hit with that insane polar air that's been hitting. Probably a lot colder than what we got. We made it down into the single digits briefly, but that's what we've been used to for the last week is teens and single digits, bordering around there, maybe 20s in the highs. But suddenly today it's almost 50 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, whoa, where'd that come from? So the difference is stark.
It's
it was
46,
49 this morning when I went and started my truck at my house. 49
so for all intents and purposes, it's 50 degrees
temperature gauge.
Fahrenheit.
My house was like 44.
So for those of you who are still freezing cold, or you never got cold at all, maybe you won't necessarily feel this. But having that shift just like that from one day to the next is a bizarre feeling.
Well, I'm going to say this just real quick. Because of that weird temperature shift, my backflow preventer at my house exploded.
Oh, no. Why is stuff always blowing up at your house?
Story of my life, Dane. So backflow preventer for my irrigation burst. My own fault. I didn't blow out my sprinklers. I never blow out my sprinklers. What I do, Dane, here's what I do.
I sound like the responsible
So here's
adult.
what I do, Dane.
I'm
on irrigation.
Okay.
And the way my irrigation works, it's gravity.
Pure gravity.
Pure gravity.
Okay. You don't know that for sure.
Normally what I do...
He's awfully trusting.
At the beginning of the year, I open my intake valve and I close my outtake valve.
Output valve?
Output. And it fills up.
Okay.
Fills my line, and that's where my water is, right? And then I use my sprinklers all year. Then at the end of the year, I close my intake valve and I open my outtake valve, and all the water drains down.
Yeah, what's left?
It drains out via gravity.
Inevitably, there will be
in
some
my yard
left, though, just because, there's nothing forcing it out. The gravity is doing a little bit, but I mean...
Gravity is forcing it out.
There will be some moisture left behind, I am sure.
The point is, I've been in that home 5 years.
Right.
Never had an issue.
Yeah.
Till yesterday. When my neighbor called me screaming because water was spraying all over her house.
It was going that far.
There was a lot of water in my line, apparently.
What is your gravity assist suddenly like blowing it out?
So I
went. Going on?
So once I went over there, I was like, "Oh crap! I forgot to fully close my I didn't actually Like I had turned my outtake valve the wrong way, so it was still open, or it was closed.
Okay.
But my intake valve wasn't all the way closed.
So it was forcing
So
it
it was
against
still
the wall.
whatever water was coming in was still coming in.
So there's pressure just forced up against that, and nowhere to go. It just finds the path of least resistance,
Which is that poppet. Oh. And that's what that's designed to do, is to burst.
Right.
Like that's what its job is.
But now it's a high pressure.
Yeah. So I ran over,
sprinkler.
grabbed my keys, opened the valve, water came back down, ran out, drained out completely, made sure the tap was fully clean. And it was literally like a quarter of a turn. And mind you, I'm in these pipes that are like 4 feet down, and I've got my little keys that are 5 feet tall. Yeah, and I'm sticking those in the ground, trying to twist and
Dodging
turn.
spiders.
A lot of spiders, a couple slugs sitting there
slugs.
hanging out. So I get that shut off, and that's like, and the whole time she's like, "What am I going to do about the water in my crawl space?" And I said, "I don't know.
Wait,
I don't know."
it'll go away eventually.
That's what I said. I'm like,
if that creates mold, I'm holding you liable.
yeah. Basically, she
Okay,
goes, "I got all my mold taken care of last year," and I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like, didn't plan for this to happen." So
Yeah,
anyway, that was, but it was
freak
because of that
occurrence,
temperature. So I had to find a new part. Didn't find a new part. Ended up putting a towel over it, a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Nice.
That creates a nice barrier. That's a very
just wrapped it all
dense
up
towel.
with that. I
You're
ordered
safe.
the parts on Amazon.
Yep.
They'll be here on Thursday.
Yep.
I'll do the replacement, fix everything back up, because once they pop, they break. So you got to put you got to put all the new internals. They're made of plastic, and so got to put the new internals back in then.
Yeah.
But until then, Gauntlet's doing the double duty. But I had to jump in there just real quick. It was part of my story, but it was that temperature change, and thankfully we don't have freezing temperatures the next 2 days, today and tomorrow. So I'm very thankful of that.
Yeah.
But we will have freezing Thursday evening.
Yes.
So I'm hoping I can get all that fixed and repaired before.
Yeah, we got a little window of time.
Yeah. So at least the gods have blessed me, Dane.
Take it where you can get it.
They've given me they gave me a challenge, like they're apt to do, to finish out the year, and then they bless me with some warm weather in which to accomplish my task.
Well, perhaps
it's like a
Loki
quest,
the
side quest.
trickster has
see.
assigned your neighbor to hate you until
Probably.
things change.
Potentially.
How about you,
anyway,
Anthony?
so I guess other housekeeping things. This Thursday, obviously, business as usual. We'll be back for the Q&A. But a lot of people are out this week still because of the holidays. And so we're hoping to start off next year with a bang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that bang actually is,
Fireworks.
but it's going to be probably a lot of illegal fireworks, as it usually happens here in Idaho. It's wonderful.
Gray
It's
market
amazing.
fireworks.
Sucks for the dogs. I feel horrible for the dogs, but it's great for everybody else that wants to see a show. But coming up into January, if you guys missed the memo last weekend, the Grand Ambassador program is currently under construction right now, and we'll be going and making some fun changes to that over the course of the next 3 months or so before it relaunches around the time of TRCMA. And so I think that'll be a fun time. And yeah,
still
looking forward to
normal
everything.
operations for people who've already participated.
Correct.
As Grand
Yeah.
Ambassadors,
So judging for the Grand Ambassador of the Year, I mean, technically we will begin the judging process here once we wrap up this end of the year. So January 1st, I mean, we cut it off, and me, Dane, Jimmy, Levi, and a couple other people are going to be sitting down and going through 40 amazing people and figuring out who our actual Grand Ambassador of the Year is.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
And as well as our runner-ups, whether he or she has what it takes.
Oh, I like it.
Nice.
It's kind of exciting. So anyway,
like
that's pretty much all I got. So I would say let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of our. This is a detailing podcast. Let's talk about our.
I mean, it's easy to forget.
Dane,
but-
let's talk about our detailing Christmas weekend. What'd you detail?
Yeah, detailing. Wow, so funny. You mentioned that.
Sorry
Usually
for all
I'm the
that
one who's
tuned in
like
for hot
trying to
detailing
reel us
talk.
back
I
in,
mean-
talk about hot detailing.
Yeah,
talk,
like
but
what chemicals did you use?
Oh, man,
What
it's
Did you get
crazy
stuff
to
for
say.
Christmas?
I did not get any detailing gear for Christmas. Although I do consider it a detailing uniform. I did get a couple.
Did you
of
at least run through a touchless car wash by chance?
No, actually, this time I was literally just letting the Flex sit as dirty as it can get because it is a white car, and eventually we may need to do some kind of wash on it
scientific
for a
dirt
video,
testing, I
so-
see.
Yeah.
Well, Dane, when does
and it's not coated or anything, so it's a good,
Dane, when does your
clean
car
slate.
go in for paint?
That happens on January 4th.
So it comes next week.
Next week.
So you do know
Yes.
that you need to wash that car before taking it to him.
Absolutely.
Because body shop people will rub
all over
your car, right?
No doubt about it.
All right. The thing hasn't been detailed.
And the way that they clean cars off is they take a wax and grease remover.
Take a greasy
and
rag.
they just spray
knockdown cloth.
They just spray that onto a what's it called?
I've seen it.
A hospital cloth. What are those called?
Is it called a huck towel?
A surgical huck towel.
Yeah,
and then they're
going
to just wipe down your car for you. That's their car wash.
I'm aware of their methods. It will be clean before it sets foot in that place.
I'm excited to see how much Bondo's on the inside, how much Bondo dust is on the inside of his vehicle when he gets it back.
It shouldn't be much, if anything, because
they're going to have the doors open so they
spot
can
above
climb up to the roof. They're going to paint that whole roof, aren't they?
to the front section and blend it.
Okay.
Just because there's that one little spot. Basically, for those who aren't familiar, I'll regale you with the story of Ford Flexes and how when their windshield gets replaced, say you live in a climate like Colorado or something where there's a lot of rocks being kicked up on the road, you get your front windshield chipped. Well, okay, they remove it, they replace it. I think that's what happened here because the owner lived in McCall further north. Probably got chipped to a point where it left a big old crack. They had to replace the windshield. And when the windshield got replaced, apparently this is not a totally unheard of thing. Ford Flexes and I think a few other Ford products, if they remove the windshield and the guy removing the windshield nicks it just ever so slightly as they're like putting it in or taking it out, it can cause the spot where rust can grow.
Chip the paint.
Yeah, they chip the paint just a little bit up top, and then it kind of like crept back. Now, here in Idaho, rust is kind of unusual. It's not something we run into a lot on cars as long as they've been in the state their whole lives.
Right. We're a high desert.
Yeah. So it's very unusual. So when I saw that on this car, I still knew I was getting the right deal on the car, but I saw that and went, I'm going to want to fix that right away because there's a little spot of just like bubbling under the paint. And that's the whole reason I'm doing this, because I don't want to let that grow. Anybody who lives on the East Coast or the Midwest understands that that's not something you can really, live with for too long. But yeah, anyway, that's why I'm doing that.
Okay. Well, all right. So, weekend, what did you do? What detailing did you do?
That's a very short list. We all know.
Tell us about your Christmas then, Dane.
Yeah, we'll do that. So basically, Christmas consisted of a few family visits, a little bit of going for walks, doing nice stuff like that. But the actual, Christmas adventure was a Christmas Eve and Christmas combo. So go there on Christmas Eve, have ourselves some nice little spiked apple cider, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just made on the stove with care, that kind of thing. Maybe slip in a little Grand Marnier. But other than that, it was just a nice evening to watch a movie together, finish wrapping the last of some presents, just little things like that. My Aunt Maylee and Kelly showed up, and they hung out with us. And we all watched movies together. They watched The Glass Onion, that new Knives Out one.
That's what I watched
on Netflix. That was a fun one. Enjoyed that, and thought it's interesting. My aunt had mentioned she'd never seen the first one. So we were like, oh, but we just watched this one. You should have watched the first one. She goes, well, I didn't want to make you guys watch it because it sounded like you already watched it. Well, it's okay. I guess we'll watch that on Christmas Day. So then we watched it. And then when that came around, she watched it and realized, oh, I like this one better.
Yeah.
So
the first one.
We got him around.
Yeah. So, but
I'm jumping around.
On Christmas Eve, what else happened there?
Honestly, you're asking me like a lot happened. The thing is, we're very low key.
Dane, what did your mom make?
She made a wonderful dish. Basically,
what is it?
We had now my brain.
I think Dane's still in a coma from Christmas.
What Anthony wants me to say it because it's his favorite thing.
Seafood Fantasia.
She did what we do every single Christmas Eve, which is seafood. You can call it a seafood fantasia.
It is a seafood fantasia.
It's a seafood medley. It's a seafood fettuccine.
I love it. Seafood medley.
It's basically
Fantasia.
you take seafood
better.
and you mix it into a pasta dish. And yes, it is fantastic. It is something we've been doing since I lived in Washington.
Time
so
immemorial.
very, very long time period we've been doing this. But it was actually my Aunt Maylee's first time joining in with us doing this. So she loves it, but it was the first time she'd partook in that and really, really enjoyed it. And of course, now that my mom understands that Anthony's obsessed with this stuff, she made a little extra, put it in a Tupperware, and set it aside for good old Anthony over here because
knows that I need
hopefully
my
fix. Hopefully
he need his fix. Last year was the first time he I think you'd heard of it.
No, I eat it as soon as it's possible.
Right? Yeah, it's not something you're gonna wait
when
for.
you get it soon. So yeah. But
I'm just gonna start going over there.
He's like, but don't you?
Well, now
don't you have a
excuse.
family? You need to.
Yeah,
you have a child.
They understand.
And I need to pick up my. I wanted to bring Lucy by to give you guys this Christmas card.
Oh, that's it.
Seafood.
And wow, what do you guys got there? Awesome. You know what we have here.
We do it every year.
Can I just make a plate?
It's the same every year. No, what she likes to say though is it is a little different every year because it's never quite the same, but it changes, but only just a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because once again, she doesn't really use a recipe. She just goes off the top of the dome and mixes it up, and what you get is what you get. But it's great every time.
Yeah.
So and I understand it's not your cup of tea, so that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not a seafood man.
That's okay. That's okay.
I was all about it. So, anyways, you guys cook that, and then what I love about Dane's family though is with his Aunt Maylee and Kelly and and then the whole Hennon family. I love how like they are totally cool with watching movies. All day. Mm-hmm. And which is
so I'm that
I
guy
admire
too.
that.
I want to be that.
I'm
not allowed to be that.
I can't do that because the thing is,
universe doesn't let
I have
me.
a plan. My wife plans those 2-3 days, right, to like the hour, right, and it's always that we're doing something for that period of time. Now I did get to watch one movie, right?
Yeah, world famous Idaho seafood. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
but
the reason we used to do it though is because we lived in a place called Sequim, Washington, which was right next to the Strait of Juan de Fuca. If you're not aware, if you've ever heard of Dungeness crab,
medley of the sea.
If you've ever heard of Dungeness crab, we literally lived in the Dungeness. We were where Dungeness crab comes from, which is why this whole thing started. So we naturally just carried the tradition over as we moved here. But
you got to pull up that comment right there.
Oh God. Which one? The seafood Fantasia?
Right below that.
Oh,
Christmas Eve and Christmas combo was converting the Express Cafe into a bed and breakfast, enjoying sausage links with flapjacks.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
That's why he was so. That's why he's being so.
I am all about that.
But what I'm saying is that even though Dane has family that comes over to the house, right?
The family coming over is okay to
they are cool with just saying, let's just watch a movie. And I go, wait, so you guys aren't like having to worry about like activities.
So like
in the past,
I would love to do that.
And they watch movies that like not everybody would be like all 100% on board with, right?
Yeah. See, if I did that and I said, hey, come on over, hanging out.
Yeah.
My dad would come over. Mm-hmm. Well, what are you guys doing? Oh, we're watching this movie. He would then proceed to tell me a story about what's been happening with him for the last 2 weeks to a month.
Yeah.
While we're trying to watch, and I'd be like, hey, Dad, we're trying to watch. Oh, well, I came over to hang out with you.
Yeah. If you want to
could and watch the movie.
You can watch anytime.
Right, exactly. That's what he says. And my stepmom would then reiterate that, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing with my mom. My mom comes over and goes, what are you guys watching? Ooh, I want to watch this with you. She'll do the exact same thing. Oh, I forgot to tell you about I forgot to tell you about my sisters. I forgot to tell you about this. That's what's going to happen.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I don't get to do that kind of stuff. So I envy that your family is so cool to just, we're going over to watch a movie. All right,
I think it's from a lifetime of feeling like you were pressured to do those other things in their families and so forth that they finally said, you know what, let's just not make this a big hectic thing where everybody has to be at these precisely scheduled, do this stuff. Like we went and saw the Christmas lights a few weeks back. That was great. That was like a little activity we went and did, Christmas adjacent kind of thing, but it wasn't happening on Christmas where you're like fighting off crowds of other stuff. Like it just on Christmas, Eve and Christmas Day, you'd rather stick around the house and keep things fairly localized, manageable, whatever you want to do. Just not. Oh my God! I'm gonna get distracted by all these.
Trish get a nice stocking of Marlboro Red Slim Jim, trivium
fridge magnets. Oh my God!
Yeah, Anthony just left it on the abandoned couch next to his parking spaces.
But this was the thing I kind of wanted to stress about it was everybody's family is different. The expectations are different. I get that. Like when you have a family, you want to set your own traditions. You want to kind of make it into your own thing. Figure out what the balance looks like for you. For ours, though, I think there was so much pressure in the earlier family lives. And when it finally came time that we reached a point where it's like, okay, everything is nicely decorated. My mom likes, making the house smell nice and getting all these different, treats and all these things out. And that's fantastic. But at the same time, we are kind of a family of introverts where we do extroverted stuff like speaking on a live stream or something like that. But that's not necessarily the way we're wired all the time. Like comes a point where you're just like, I just want to sit down on the couch and watch a movie and share it with other people I love, and then we can have a conversation about it afterwards. And that's the extent of like hang out. Then maybe tell some stories about where we've been the last year and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And you can do that. But the pressure is no longer there. You're just like diffusing the whole situation. Because some people, I feel like you go to their house, there's this tension in the air because everybody has got like, oh, I need to tell them this thing or that thing. And it's just this awkward.
Or that you have to like, socialize
feeling.
Or you have to.
Yeah, where you feel pressured to socialize where maybe you're just not up to it. And you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. But at the same time, you're also kind of like, I'm sorry, I'm just not that invested in your story right now.
Well, it's funny because, like, for example, Katie's family, right? They all watch the same shows. They all, like, if you bring up a show, like, if I were to say Wednesday, Katie's grandpa would say, I watched Wednesday. Katie's mom would say, I watched Wednesday. Katie would say, I watched Wednesday. Everybody would be on the same page, right? Right. But it would be very strange for that family to all sit down
and watch an episode
in one
together.
room and watch an episode or watch a movie together. Right. It would be something I've never seen before. And I won't even know how. Same thing with my family, though, too, right? It would be something that we could do. My family is so, like, ADHD that they wouldn't have enough attention span to do it. But, for example, my house, I said, I think it was on Saturday morning, Christmas morning, Christmas or Sunday morning, right? I said, hey, I grabbed the remote. I changed it from the Christmas music that it was currently playing, and I wanted to put on Christmas Vacation in the background.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just fun to have stuff like
it
that
in the background. Katie goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm putting on Christmas Vacation." She's like, "Anthony, we don't need to do that right now. We're watching. We're listening to music and we're socializing." Yep. And I said.
That tension right there is exactly what I want to avoid.
But I just want to have the movie on, like, in the background because it's a funny movie and it makes me happy.
And you can just look over at any moment
and I'm like, and then
turn back to the conversation.
The Christmas music sucks. I mean, I would rather listen to Uncle Eddie. You know what I mean? Like, go and drain the...
Well, let's be fair. What Christmas music were you listening to? Because it is like a religion in our household to listen to Ramsey Lewis Christmas.
There's no specific... There's no specific... I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Oh.
I don't know. It was the Charlie Brown soundtrack. I don't know. It sucks. And so... But I'm just saying...
But putting on a movie in the background, nobody would be that upset. People would be like, oh, okay, cool. Just in the background.
I would love that. Couldn't do it because it would have been rude to the rest of everybody else's family.
You don't want to be disrespectful.
But where people can't handle like the change or something and they feel like you're trying to ignore them and you put it on. I think some people feel like it's a direct attack on them when you change it in the background. Like, oh, you're like vocalizing without actually saying anything that you don't like this right now and you're trying to change the dynamic and you're trying to somehow be different. I feel like that happens sometimes where I notice a family go, we are doing this right now, please do not change it. You're trying to upend what we're doing. You're trying to subvert what we're doing.
What Anthony stated is a norm.
Yes.
What you have is something unique. But what you have with your family is so unique, and your parents make it so amazing and wonderful that, like, we look at it and go, gosh, I can't believe you get to do that.
I'm sick of the facade. That's what it is.
But it's not, because you don't, like, what you have is completely different.
I think like it would take if you, for example, if you were to sick of the facade and sick of the thing, that would have meant that you yourself would have broken your own family's norms of doing something different to make it different. But I think everybody in your family is already on that same page. Yeah. So you haven't really broken a norm.
Right. That's what I want to stress is that wasn't always the case.
Okay. And I would like to think that trailed down from Carolyn Hennon.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Carolyn deserves all the credit.
My mom and dad absolutely contribute.
Because she comes from a large family. Yeah. She comes from a loud, boisterous Catholic family.
Yes, exactly.
They know exactly how that works.
Their parents were kind of prim and proper, and everybody act right, do this stuff. We're gonna have a nice family dinner. Like there's certain decorum and stuff,
but she takes certain elements.
Yes,
that what she grew up with.
Takes the parts you like the Ramsey Lewis Christmas, background jazz music kind of stuff, and then that can stay. The other parts that make you feel like a bad person for not following all the rules everybody says, that part goes away.
Yeah, she makes
her own. And that's what
rules.
I love, is being able to just take that and go, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. But that's what's so great about your parents. Yeah. Your dad takes his elements.
I wish other people could feel as free.
Them. She infuses her elements, and you've lived a charmed Christmas that you've enjoyed, where some of us have had very different. You got to remember, too, we are both children of divorce.
Yes.
2 Christmases.
Yes.
Correct?
What's that?
You and I have been children of divorce.
Yes,
2 Christmases.
Correct. That's correct. I've had 2 Christmases.
So
I've always had dysfunction in my family. Actually, technically 3 Christmases if you include my stepdad's family.
Right. People same also feel this need to go over the top to try and we're gonna have a nice family Christmas.
So where our families have tried to create these.
But it's not just. I've seen this happen in so many other families. It's the same deal.
It's just
there's this pressure. They're trying to meet this expectation. It's like, who are you trying to impress?
I think it's whatever the parents have ingrained in what they want.
I think it's mostly a tradition thing.
I think it's people.
It's trying to create and pass down tradition, which is not necessarily
traditions and memories are great. Yeah, and we have our traditions. They just happen to be a little more loosey goosey than other people's.
I think it's just passed down by our forefathers and forefathers and forefathers of things that how things should be done. And here's the thing: I'm not saying that normal traditional Christmas family time is a bad thing. I think it's still great. I think though that it is a lot. It can be sometimes be high stress, and I also think it can be a lot of work. And I think that almost everybody is usually on the same page of just being like, I just want to relax, and I don't want to think about a whole lot.
My grandmother started a tradition where she would have a Christmas party on Christmas Eve and invite her family.
Makes sense.
So she would say, hey, everybody wants to come over on Christmas Eve. Come over. Let's have a potluck dinner at my house. Her mother and her father lived a block away, so they would come over.
Easy, yeah.
Her sister lived 2 blocks away, and so her and her kids would come over. Her other sister lived down the street, so they would come over with their children. And they'd all just come over and have a Christmas Eve party. So she would host this party with her children and her siblings and their children.
Jesus.
Crap.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoops.
That's right, Neil. So, but that's what she did.
Yeah.
So then when she passed away, my dad and his siblings would then try to carry on the torch.
Yeah.
Where they would go, hey, Christmas Eve at our house or so-and-so's house or what, and they'd change it up. Maybe at my aunt's house, maybe at my uncle's house. And it would try to be the same feeling.
Yeah.
During that time period, my parents got divorced. My dad would go, hey, I get Christmas Eve with the kids. Sure. My mom would go, I get Christmas Day with the kids.
Sure.
So Christmas Eve, we would go over to my dad's house, or we go to my aunt or my uncle's or whoever. We'd have the Christmas party. Then we'd go over to my dad's that night, and my dad would be like, well, since I'm not going to have you here in the morning, I'm going to have you guys. That's exactly what it is. 300 years in the Treasure Valley Christmas Eve block party. That's what it is. My dad would go, since I don't have you, we're opening presents.
Yeah.
As soon as we get back from your grandmother's, we're opening presents. We stay up till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Opening gifts.
Yeah.
Because the next morning, my mom would come and get us bright and early so she could take us to her house to open presents.
Yeah.
So that continued to grow. When I had children, they can't hang till midnight or 1 o'clock.
No.
And my dad would not change the Gates family Christmas party atmosphere.
Of course.
We're having it at so-and-so's house. Okay, well, when that's over, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Nope, we got to go to my house next and keep that party rolling.
I know.
And it's like,
multi-house travel for Christmas is
I can't do this anymore.
No.
Yeah.
How about we move the Gates family Christmas party to maybe 2 days before or the weekend before?
We kind of did a
where we can
version of
have
that
everybody
this year.
come over and we can still do the potluck, but maybe we do it on the weekend, like on the 20th or the 18th or something. But Graham, my mom had it on Christmas Eve, and that's how it's going to be. And I go, right, but now, Brad Gates, you have 5 grandchildren of your own. Your brother has 6 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. Your other brother has, same number. Like, all of you have your own, I would call them like planets, right? You each have your own planet. You're trying to fit in this solar system.
Yeah.
But your planets each planet has too many moons or little offshoots.
Yeah.
So that planet could be its own solar system because of what it has.
Sure, it's got everything.
Right? So if one of your brothers has 5 kids and then 30 grandchildren, let's just take, that's a huge number, I understand.
Hey, some families, though.
But if that's what it is, why are you inviting all of them?
Right.
To your Christmas party? Well, it's mom's Christmas, right? So it's some of these kids' great grandmother's Christmas party. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, what I'm getting
start
at
to
here when I
lose out.
hear all this, and I understand it because you're definitely not the
But my
only people I
dad
hear who have
goes,
that.
"I want my Christmas like this,"
And okay,
and that's how he does it. And be damned if you want to change it.
I know. And here's
that's
the
how it
part where
works.
I'm definitely putting in the unwelcome, like, shim in the door, whatever kind of thing. And I say, but is it just your Christmas at this point? No, there are other people involved. So maybe be a little more considerate. And some people, they just don't have that leeway built in. They don't do that. But what I would get at is I totally understand the whole, like, especially like you said, the family dynamic of like, okay, let's move to this house and then this house and do that stuff.
That's exhausting.
That'll drive you crazy.
Especially with a little one.
We did a version of that, since I'm still talking about my Christmas. We did that on Sunday for Christmas Day because
was everybody looking forward to it? Is everybody kind of like, oh, dang?
No. Like, it was fine because we had Christmas Eve at my parents' house. Like, on Christmas Eve, everybody in my family kind of does their own little pockets of stuff. Like, wherever they already are, that's what they do. Maylee and Kelly chose to come over and hang out with us. That's great. We're low key. But then on Christmas Day, it's basically Liz and I, Corey, and Maylee and Kelly show up, and we unwrap presents on Christmas morning. You know, everybody got their stuff for each other, and Santa dropped by and dropped stuff off for the dogs, and, you know, all that fun stuff. And then watch a movie together, and then right around the time the movie is up, then it's time to go to Gwen and Bob's. And then Gwen and Bob are hosting Christmas dinner. And that's fine, because even though they're on the other side of town, it's still not a high-pressure thing. Yes, Gwen likes to develop an itinerary and have everything laid out in a particular manner, but over the years, I think she's kind of loosened up a little bit to where it's not like, you know, my word is law and everything has to happen this way.
Yeah.
She's acclimated to now people are a little less, you know, intense about this sort of thing. We don't want to pressure each other to the point we feel resentful towards one another because you're trying to have fun. Like, forced fun is not fun, and I will continue to stand by that. That shouldn't be a controversial statement. But when people are like, we're going to have fun, damn it, it's like, no, that's not cool. So, yeah, it's frustrating if you're in that position, though, where you don't have a say in the matter. I'm sorry, because that does suck. And I feel bad for that, obviously. But it's one of those things where when the time finally comes and you're able to, you know, make it your own, do what you really want with it. Don't feel like you're beholden to the past of things, because I think the problem is some people latch on to things were done this way in the past, and so I have to carry on that tradition. Or are you carrying on that tradition because you actually liked it, or because you feel like you can't let go of the person? Or what part of it is sticking with you that you're going to make everybody else miserable because you refuse to deviate from the plan?
Moral of the story, make your own Christmas.
That's what I'm getting at here. Be your own person. Make your own Christmas. Make your family happy.
So what else did you do? So
good,
wrap up.
All in good Christmas, wrap it up.
That's it.
What'd you get? Anything cool?
I mean, I got those e-bikes. So
you got an e-bike?
Cool. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Two e-bikes.
Oh,
one for Liz,
the
one
ones
for me.
The hand-me-downs from your parents, or new ones?
Yes, they're hand-me-downs, but they use them like twice.
Yeah, they wrote them.
So I'm like, okay,
brand new.
That's basically new.
So Dane just got himself an e-bike.
I just need to buy chargers.
Did you ride that
for
today?
him. Apparently, well, no. It would have been nice though, because it's a lot warmer
perfect
now.
weather.
I could get away with it.
Yeah.
But so that's one of those things where I was like, holy cow, that's really cool. Other stuff, my brother gave me my brother gave me a hand-me-down too. However, it was another awesome hand-me-down. It was a fancy espresso maker that he had. He got himself a different.
Because he bought
thing.
a new one.
So he's like, "Here, I got you this one. I can show you how to use it." And Liz was like, "Oh my God, we need that." Yes. So we'll definitely use that. But yeah, other than that, it's, you know, warm clothes, Bluetooth socks. I had to laugh so hard.
Bluetooth socks, huh? What do they do? Warm up for you?
Warm up socks. You can control the temperature from your phone. It's so goofy, but at the same time, I'm like,
pair those with your clumpers. And,
and I got socks, gloves, and a hat. And the Columbans, put those on. So the whole 9 yards. And some Dixons. Nice. So I was very happy about that. The other one that got me was an XL, though. It was a Bel Air, like that really light blue one. I don't fit into that yet, but this one's a 2X, so I'll enjoy this for the time being. The Borealis, very
nice.
Yeah, I'm bummed about that. I missed out on that.
That was basically my time. Gwen's house was fantastic. Everybody had fun. It was nice. And we, for some reason, they decided they wanted to watch the old duet with Bing Crosby and David Bowie from way back in the day. And then we found that there was a Funny or Die skit that literally copied it exactly with John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell was playing David Bowie.
Nice.
It basically was the exact same one-to-one recreation until the end, where they started cussing each other out and their egos were getting in the way. It was basically the same story otherwise. Fun. Anyway, moving on. That was it.
That's great. Levi, what about you?
Well, mine started off with Thursday night. So Thursday night, Carly went out with friends, and I had the night to myself. And I had a truck to detail.
Very nice.
Oh, so there is detailing in the
So I had a little Ford
after
Ranger
all.
I had to work on. Did a little quick interior on it. Polished the outside. Used a little Uno Protect on it.
Yeah.
200,000 mile Ford Ranger. You know, Wayne, my buddy Wayne, who likes to flip cars.
Yeah.
So worked on that for a while. Tested some products on it that I was not happy about.
Yeah.
And not happy with. But they worked.
Okay.
And they did what they needed to, but
Just wasn't mind-blowing or anything like
well,
that.
we got a long ways to go. But the truck came out looking good.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problems. Delivered that on Friday, and then Friday just tried to hang out. My elbow's been killing me. It's been clicking like crazy and locking up. So as soon as I got that done, I thought, all right, I'm going to try to rest on this.
Yeah.
I had one last present to get. So Friday morning,
Okay.
in the middle of the snowstorm, me and the kids jumped in the Suburban and headed to Costco.
Yeah.
Huge mistake. Costco at 10:15 a.m.
Oh, no.
Oh, forget
Day
that.
before Christmas Eve. An absolute chaotic mess. I thought I was being smart by getting there right when they opened. Nope. Me and probably 3,000 other Boiseans.
If they
had
just
made it
felt
to
their
there.
people at the door, like,
Oh my
are you
gosh.
buying last-minute gifts? Yes. Okay, you have to wait outside. The people
they
who are
had
buying
these-
regular groceries.
So we only went for 2 Pendleton blankets.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They're $20. They had them on special. They're amazing. Queen size Pendleton fleece blanket.
Like a big
dope.
throw blanket
Oh my gosh.
kind of thing.
It's a full queen. You could get them in king too, Dane.
I've got one on the bed upstairs.
Yeah.
It's like a big fleece thing.
Yeah,
I
it's-
don't know if it's a Pendleton.
This one's Pendleton. So I was like, that's the greatest deal ever.
Came from Costco, though.
So I got one for my folks for their motorhome.
Okay, cool.
That was my last minute gift. So took the kids. We went up there. We got that. I got some boxes of cereal and a couple
Okay.
other little things.
Yeah.
Stood in line for, it was faster to walk in, grab the things that we needed than the line to check out.
Yeah.
Oh.
By the time we checked out and got out and back home, it was like 11:15. So it was almost an entire hour round trip just to get like 3 things at Costco.
Woof.
Yeah.
Who gets just 3 things at Costco? That's
what it felt
impressive,
like.
honestly. To
But it
narrow
was,
down like that.
anyway, so made it home and I said, this snow is insane.
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere today. So chilled out the rest of the day. We started cleaning up the house. We got the house clean so we could get it dirty. My kids were complaining the whole time. They wanted to go do stuff. We went to Fred Meyer's, got groceries, stuff like that. Saturday hit, Christmas Eve, same thing. Let's clean up the house. Tried to make breakfast for them. Let's clean the house. Let's get everything ready. Let's wrap the last of the presents. Thursday night, I was able to also wrap the rest of my presents and get those done. And had everything ready to go. Then we cruised over to my dad's house for the party. My dad's like, party's at 5:30. I said, party is 6:30 for us. I'm not coming over at 5:30. I'll see you at 6:30. Pick up my mom. We head to the party. Gates family Christmas, party at my dad's.
Yep.
An aunt and an uncle are there because my dad's like, really, bummer. Everybody's out of town with their own families.
How dare they?
Right. That's because that's what happens.
Well, if
so he
you-
invited 6 people to his Christmas party.
If you make it feel less fun, people are less inclined to show up.
Yeah. Well, then he
just
was-
a
yeah.
tip for everybody.
So I was glad we got there when we did because there was really only another hour or so, and then the rest of the extended family left.
That evening was crazy, by the
So
way.
then,
on the roads.
so then we could get started on our Christmas Eve presents and gifts and
Yeah.
things for my kids and family and whatnot. We went around, did that. I ended up getting a giant toolbox from my dad, so I was very excited about that. Loaded it in the truck. My kids got spoiled. Everybody got spoiled. It was great. Then we went to I had to drive my mom home. The roads were pure ice.
That's what I wanted to point out. That night was shockingly bad on the roads.
Solid sheets of ice all over the roads because it rained
ice
and it froze.
It froze instantly the second it hit the ground.
Slick as hell.
Everywhere.
Couldn't believe we made it.
Places,
it took an
everywhere.
hour. It took an hour and 15 minutes to drive from my dad's house, which is over here, over to my house.
What does it normally take?
30 minutes.
Okay.
I was doing literally, Dane, 10 miles an hour in four-wheel drive in the Suburban.
I was going to say you were in the burb.
Just creeping down State Street.
Yeah.
Every time we turn, like I had to literally just
glide.
I had to let it crawl at idle speed to turn. Any faster, and we were just slipping right off to the side. So made it home. Next morning, kids get up. However, the problem was that night, Augie got sick. At my dad's house, he got in the door, started running, playing with the grandkids and with his cousins. He got severely low with his diabetes.
No.
Dropped to about a 60 when his pump had told us, and that is a reading from 15 minutes to 20 minutes in the past.
Yeah.
So he probably, when we saw that, was actually at like 30 or 25 blood sugar. So we had to give him orange juice. Carly said he started shaking. We gave him a bunch of sugar. We gave him a bunch of food to try and get him to like pop his blood sugar back up. He was sick and lethargic for the rest of the night. We got his blood sugar back to normal, but he was wiped out for the rest of the night. Towards the end of the evening, threw up as soon as we got home, multiple times.
Oh.
Didn't go to bed till almost 3 o'clock, cleaning up puke, washing stuff. Finally got him down. Hopefully no more puke. Woke up to him puking one more time. It was a nightmare.
Jeez.
Woke up Christmas Day, running on 3.5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, just burned.
Yeah.
Like just burned. Open gifts. We had a great Christmas. Beautiful Christmas. Good. No problems, no arguments, no complaining.
Perfect.
Just a sick kid that was not happy with life.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't eat. Story of our lives. Next day, so that was Sunday. Then we went over to my mom's, had lunch there. He was in better mood, but still wasn't eating. Came home, wasn't sick, but then Monday we took the day off, and I was thankful we took Monday off because I needed to sleep. Slept until 9:30 on Sunday or on Monday. Very nice, very happy with that. Was gonna had the plan. I'm gonna sit on the couch and do nothing all day. That's my day. That lasted till about 1 o'clock. Then my neighbor called to say that my thing exploded.
That's when that happened.
What are you doing? That went on till 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
With running back and forth to Grover's and picking all the parts and all that stuff. And then the parts didn't work, so I had to take them back. Then I came home and made dinner. Made dinner for the kids. Augie didn't eat. Kind of ate a little bit. We've been watching Wednesday with the kids. Love that show. We finished it last night. Augie proceeded to then throw up again last night.
Not done yet, apparently.
Yeah. So when I left for work this morning, I was like, hope you guys have a better day. I'll see you later.
Nice.
That was mine. So
Wow.
I've got some cleanup to do in the garage. I've got some more testing to do on some products in the garage. I've got a new toolbox to put in. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm debating whether or not I want to bring in a car this weekend or not.
Okay.
I think I might take the new year and not do that.
Yeah,
Just
not
keep
such
it
a
quiet.
bad idea.
And then I'll start the new year. Maybe I'll put a little post out on Facebook. Hey, open book.
Yeah.
Let's know the weekends you want to start booking with me and
Fair.
Get my garage just organized. Like it's cleaned. It's not organized fully yet. I need to get stuff. I kind of want to spend the time, maybe the evenings this week, working on getting the house in order, So
Yeah, go donate some things for the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't have anything to really donate, but I should. But anyway,
the week
that was it.
everybody does
Anthony, tell us about yours.
Mine really, for the most part, was pretty much, a lot of family stuff. So Friday night, what was Friday night? What the heck was Friday night? That was
Christmas Eve.
That was Christmas Eve.
That was Christmas Eve. Nothing crazy happened then.
Okay.
I think came home and it was pretty chill. And actually, that's what I did. Did some last minute Christmas shopping.
Okay.
Went out, picked up some things that I needed to pick up. And then Saturday, so on Christmas Eve, I think it was mostly just kind of us getting ready to, go out and, festivities and whatnot. So I think I stayed around the house. And Saturday night, we went over to my parents' house, did a little bit of Christmas Eve festivities there. And that was a good time. And kind of weird, though, all my family, my family is gone. Like my sister's in California, my brother-in-law is in California, my brother's in Omaha. So really, it's just me, my wife, my daughter, and my parents. That's really like that side of the family. That's all there really is. My grandma just had surgery, so she wasn't able to make it. But my parents' friends came over just to kind of fill the void there a little bit. Fill it out. But no, it was a good night. And that night driving home, though, I agree, it's crazy sketchy. Yeah. Crazy sketchy. Like we were driving down one of the roads to get to my house, and we're coming up on like this final crossroad there, lights red, and I start slowing down a little bit, and Katie's like, all right, slow down. I go, I am. She's like, no, you're not. And I said, you don't feel the ABS kicking on right now?
It's just pulsing.
Yeah, pulsing right now. And so I'm sliding, and I go, I know, sorry.
That's insane. Dang, dude.
I blew like a bubble on.
That's
sorry,
great.
So I'm sliding, and I didn't really. I normally know what to do when I'm like sliding out of control in a small vehicle, right? But I'm in the 4Runner, and I'm 10 times more stressed because I have the baby in the back that I normally am driving, and so I have that going on, and I'm starting to slide into this intersection to this red light, and I didn't really know what my plan was. All I knew is that we were picking up speed for some reason. Like we weren't.
Was it a
down.
downhill slope?
No, it was just a sheet of just pure ice.
Okay.
Dane.
Well, and obviously, when you're using your brakes, that just eliminates your ability to control.
Yeah. So what I start doing is I start turning the wheel a little bit. I tried to gas a little bit, and then I go, oh no, we're going sideways now.
Uh-huh.
So then we were going sideways, and I go, I think I'm just going to hit the e-brake, right? But here's what happened.
That'll spin you.
In my head, this seemed like a good idea, but I did something else with my hands that I didn't think I was doing. So I stepped on the e-brake, right? Yeah. And I go, okay, cool, e-brake's down, time to release it and straighten myself out, right? Well, then my release wasn't what I thought it was, and I popped the hood. So basically, I hit the e-brake, popped the hood, spun sideways. And
so you just look like a crazy
Tokyo drifting with the 4Runner.
And Katie hit the hazards, right? And so next thing you know, I'm sideways in the middle of the road with my hood popped, my hazards on, and my e-brake on. And she's like, so what was your plan here?
You were like, I was going to ride the e-brake a little bit. I didn't realize I was going to fully lock it up.
I was like, dang, I don't really know what my plan was, but it wasn't what's currently happening right now. I'm like, we need to get the heck out of here. We're sideways on this road.
Were there other cars like?
See, that's the fun part with the 8.1.
But they were stopped.
Give it a little bop of the throttle. A
little blap.
It gets it back in line.
Yeah. Heck yeah. No, and so after that, I think Christmas Eve, was just getting stuff set up. It was my first time where Katie said, all right, you have like 3 things you need to build.
You were doing dad duty.
Doing dad duty stuff. You need to build these stuff, in the middle of the night and then get it all set out. And so I did that. And then I think Saturday morning was, I came out. So that Saturday night, though, my mom did make a bunch of clam chowder. We did bread bowls, right? And I said, this is the best thing ever. We should do this every year.
We do bread bowls every week.
And it was bread bowls, sourdough bread bowls she made homemade
San
clam
Francisco
chowder
style.
And all sorts of other stuff. And that was amazing. So I love that idea, bread bowls versus a traditional Christmas dinner.
No, that there is a great tradition.
Because I had a traditional Christmas dinner the following day. So so Sunday was Christmas morning. I think actually both sides of my family came over.
Nice.
That was when Katie had set up the whole house. She did an amazing job.
Yeah.
It looked very, very nice and very, very traditional. That was when I got my hand slapped for wanting to put on a Christmas Vacation because the music was more important. But, it was a full spread. It looked absolutely fantastic. I grabbed my video camera and I was filming home movies. movies, right?
There you
Going
go.
around, with
So you got the kind that like sits on your shoulder.
No.
Yeah, old dad with the VHS recorder.
Tapes, a
yeah,
couple extra ones on a bandolier
Totally.
across your chest.
No,
Yeah.
but I do like my microphone on it.
Okay,
And I'm
nice.
trying to at least have some,
so he's vlogging it.
Yeah.
some fast movement to
Ooh,
where it
nice.
looks like, who's holding the camera? Why is it so
Wow.
shaky, right?
Yeah.
This is authentic, right?
Yeah.
Gotta
And I'm
give
not
it
doing
that
any
feel.
cuts. It's all just one run.
Yeah,
so
that's what it's
all
supposed
right.
to be.
That's
Well,
when we talk about traditions. That's the kind of stuff
Yeah.
you want to encourage right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
capturing those moments.
Did that, but then Lucy opened up her stuff, and so she ended up getting a God, dude, she scored. She
Dino
got
seems to think so.
she got a bumper car. It's called a bumper buddy.
Yeah, I saw them on
Coolest-
Amazon. As soon as I watched your video, it popped up on my Amazon feed,
Dude,
and I was like,
Crazy how fast that
that
works.
I'll send you guys my affiliate link. But, so we got her a bumper buddy, and that was like one of the gifts that I was looking forward to the most. And it's a remote controlled bumper car, but she can control it with her own controls, or I can control it and override her with my wireless controller. Right? It's pretty fancy. And then she got a kitchen, an IKEA kitchen.
Oh, very
So it's
nice.
a full kitchen,
I
floated.
can't wait to have some of those delicious foods and treats that she's going to be
Loaded
making.
with the wooden food pieces and all that. And then
IKEA meatballs and cookies.
she got a Minnie Mouse ball pit house.
What?
Yeah, and
Like how big?
I
The
mean,
size of this table?
It's like
or?
the size of my poop tent.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good size though.
You say that like people know what that is.
Yeah, they don't know what that is, but it's okay. Yeah, we'll
That
actually
makes it
just
funnier.
leave it at that. And then what else did she get? And then I built this. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like a tower that kids stand in to be able to get up to counters.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's like it
yeah.
gets them like eye level or
Yeah.
It's like a
waist
footstool,
level.
but just a little more whimsical.
But yeah, but it's freaking massive, and it took me like an hour to build, and I go, this thing is like way too heavy duty for what
it is.
This should
Is it going to get
actually
in the
be.
way in the kitchen constantly now?
Probably. It's huge. And so anyway, but she loved all of her gifts, and then we did
the
just
size of the late Dothraki pleasure tent is what
pretty much. And but we just did normal gift exchange, and then I'm trying to think. Then everybody kind of bailed out after a while, which was nice. Katie's dad and sister stayed for a while, and then we just kind of hung out on the couch. He asked me to show him how to fly his new drone he picked up.
My dad also got a drone this year.
They're very.
What is it
similar.
about these older gentlemen and their drones?
Older investors?
Well, I feel
Older
like
investors.
I feel like your dad's going to use it the same way he mows lawns, where he just uses it to check in on houses.
I think that's what he's going to do.
He's
gonna
just like,
check on
all
his
right, what's going
properties
on
with
here?
it.
All right, my property's doing okay.
I
Moving
can
on.
pull over here on the side of the road
and it'll just
launch
out
the
of the
drone.
back of a pickup truck. It'll just fly up.
That's what Katie's dad's going to do too.
Wow.
We're going to go out on drone stakeouts together.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, so we hung out. I mean, for the rest of the day, everybody took off after a while. I went over and picked up my Seafood Fantasia. And then that night, I watched that Glass Onion movie. Me and Katie watched it. Lucy drove the heck out of her car. So she actually...
I watched mine on Friday night, I think.
Oh, nice. So she actually, which is crazy, she's one.
Yeah.
At first, where I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to drive her around in this. I'm going to just use remote
You're
control,
gonna do
right?
most of the
But
work,
she
you think.
loved it, and she was enjoying it. She's screaming, laughing. And then it was like later that evening, it was about 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever it was. She sat in the car, and I turned it on. I said, do you want to control it? She says, yeah. So she starts messing with the controls. She has like a little seatbelt on there. And she starts driving around a little bit more.
And it goes like a tank.
Yeah, it's like a tank.
Yeah.
And next thing
Like
you
a
know,
zero-turn mower.
I'm like, oh my God,
electric
she's
wheelchair.
driving this thing. She's actually doing
Driving it around the
Like
house.
she's actually learned the entire, like how everything works. Dude, that girl was driving around the house like it was nothing. Like she had already learned, she had been doing it for a week already. And I literally could not
Messes
believe it.
with your mind, right?
Could not
When you're
believe
like,
it. I said,
how?
you are one, you don't know,
You came from me.
You poop yourself, you pee yourself, I still have to change your diapers, I still have to do all these things.
You now know
Still
how
have
to negotiate the household.
So this is the part where you're going to get her into karting
And
when
now
she's
you
like
are
5 or
actually
6.
driving a little cart, right, around like. She's going around obstacles. She's spinning around. She's chasing the dogs with it. But she's not. She's running into things.
No.
She's not running into anything. Yeah. She's not like messing up.
So has the
She's,
wherewithal
like,
to avoid
driving
obstacles.
it beautifully. And I'm like,
wow.
Children are amazing. Or she's a genius. Whatever it is. I'm amazed. Anyway, so that happened, and then we watched a movie, hung out, went to bed. We were gonna go out to go get Chinese food. We were gonna go do like sushi on Sunday night, on Christmas night, but we were just so exhausted. We didn't want to do anything. And then Monday, yesterday, was my wife's family Christmas. So we went out to Middleton to go do that, which, an hour away. That's like 45 minutes away. Drove out to that, and they had a very traditional Christmas setup, right?
Sure.
And I always complained to my wife that I don't like the food over at her grandparents' house.
A lot of ham.
It's cold
Prime
ham.
rib.
It's cold ham.
Warm ham is great. Cold ham is
they serve cold ham, the pink fluff with the walnuts in it, right?
Ambrosia.
Which, I eat that, and I like it a little bit, but I don't love it. But then there's like potatoes, and then they make mashed potatoes and green beans. And
it's traditional.
Just a very traditional thing. But it's the cold ham that kills me.
Yeah.
I go, how can you eat this?
Yeah.
Cold ham.
I'll take cold ham over hot turkey, though, and I realize that's going to upset some people, but I
Dane,
just
that's
don't
wrong.
like turkey.
That's
I don't
wrong.
like
You
turkey.
are that is unusual and strange.
Wrong.
I like ham way better than turkey,
Dane?
even if
So
it's
I like
on
them
the room
equal.
temperature side.
I like them equal, but I always suggest that ham and turkey served hot originally. Then if there are leftovers, those can be cold, but the original presentation of turkey and ham must be hot.
See, I 1,000% agree with that.
Must be hot.
Totally agree with that. The fact that it's cold and it's being presented as this was just cooked.
Yes.
That's a little weird.
That I do not get.
See, when I said cold ham, I'm thinking like leftovers.
I like
kind of
it
thing.
too.
Yeah.
But the original presentation of said ham or turkey for
is that
a
ever
party.
explained? Do we get the plot behind that, or is that just something where
No, it's just they just do cold
they
turkey.
just do
man.
that?
Cold ham.
So-
You mean.
Yeah, cold ham, not cold turkey. That's
Anyway, but I went over there, and of course, like Katie's family, I think the thing is, back to the tradition thing, they're very tradition based.
Capital T tradition.
Her
as
mom's
they
side
say.
of the family is very traditional based because, I mean, if you were just to meet their family, you would say, okay, I get it. Their grandma is 99 years old.
Dang,
She's gonna
good
hit.
for
She's
her.
gonna hit 100 next year, right, or the following year and a half. She's gonna hit 100.
Joey.
It's absolutely amazing, right? But we keep the traditions going. Probably a lot because of her,
Right,
Because,
sure.
because that's what she's known.
So you feel like her
and-
parents would do it differently if grandma
Probably.
wasn't
I
around.
think Katie's grandma, because there's great grandma, right?
Was she
So
like the
there's-
iron fist about the whole thing, or
Well,
is
the
it
great
just
grandma
they
likes
feel a
tradition. The
certain-
grandma is kind of getting sick of the tradition, and then
Okay.
Katie's mom could literally care less. Katie's mom
sounds like a perfect situation.
Katie's mom.
No, I think there'll be a regime change.
Yes, there will be
Well,
a transfer of power.
as
think
it goes
there will.
farther in.
I could tell
Because I'm waiting for that on my side of the family. Because my
Yeah.
dad and his brothers are in their 70s.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that because they did this for my grandmother while she was alive, and when she passed away 15 years ago, I thought, this is going to change.
'Cause you don't need to
didn't
do it
really-
anymore.
It didn't really change, but I've talked to my generation of cousins and said,
Yeah.
do you guys enjoy this? And they're like,
No.
no. I said, do you think if one of us seized control in some form of hostile takeover,
If we hold a coup.
we could then change the tide of the war? The only ones that did not agree were the ones that the elder cousins,
The older ones, yeah.
that are close to my dad's age,
Right, where they relate to him
because he's one
more.
of the younger ones
Yeah.
of younger children. So they're like, there's that arc where they're only a few
You
years
need
apart.
a Christmas coup d'etat.
So I need a Christmas coup to make this happen. But it sounds like you're on the verge of that as well.
I mean, it could be eventually, because that was the problem, is that this year nobody knew who wanted to host Christmas.
Correct.
Nobody wanted to host
That's the first
right?
chink in the armor.
And Katie's like, I don't want to host Christmas. We don't want to host Christmas. We're already doing Christmas morning, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to do the full Christmas. And then Katie's grandparents like, well, we don't want to host Christmas either,
Well,
right?
yours may be a peaceful transfer of power then, because it sounds like everybody's just kind of whatever about it.
I think we're at that point, right? So it's kind of like that weird thing of, hey, we got to keep tradition going for great grandma, but we also need to not kill ourselves over this whole thing.
Sure.
Anyway, so this ended up being a traditional family Christmas. I mean, the candles, the tablecloth, the plates, the arrangement of gifts and all that stuff was all well done. And then all of the appetizers. I mean, it's a lot of work, for what it is.
Sure.
But And I respect it, but I think everybody's thinking the same thing. I think Katie's mom, if I went to Katie's mom and said, hey, we're not doing Christmas anymore, but we are going to the movie theater for 9 hours to watch 5 movies, she would be like, okay.
I'm in.
She's like, okay, when?
She would,
she would probably be
literally,
like,
what's Lucy doing? She's coming with us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll follow that.
Yeah, like she would be like all about that, right? And I think Katie would even be all about that as well. And so we're getting there, right? I think,
keep chipping away.
Another couple of years,
Like,
right?
so I didn't do anything this Christmas. Like, I literally didn't even, it jumped on me and I was like, oh, it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I think if I would have pre-planned after Thanksgiving and put out a family email said, hey, I'm hosting the Gates family Christmas party. And it will be held on the 18th on a weekend at my house. Here's the list to sign up for the potluck.
Yeah, then it doesn't
conflict. I could have seized control of it and held it at my homestead. And my family that was in town, because they're not leaving town yet, because it's not quite Christmas, would have been there. And I could have pulled off quite a successful party, to which then other aunts and uncles would have gone like, wow, that was great.
But they need
Good
to
job.
experience it to know.
Wonderful. Wow,
Apparently.
that worked out really well. We should do this more often so we can still all be together. And then we still are free to make our Christmas plans.
Uh-huh.
I've tried to explain that to my father, but he will not give.
Yeah.
But like I said, my
At a
other
certain
cousins
point,
go,
it's not really
that would be
his-
nice, because then we could do stuff with our other family members or whatever.
There's no
Right?
reason you can't do that, really,
Yeah,
when
Dane,
you
it's-
think about it.
you're
I
right,
realize
there's
it's
no reason.
politics.
No, it's not even that.
But-
It's the pre-planning.
Well, it's the
It's the
pre-planning,
planning
yeah.
of going, all right, I got to get this set up.
But I mean, the part where you say your father won't allow it. I'm sorry,
But
but if it's at a different time and people choose to go to that thing,
But if
that's
I'm
their business. That's
if I'm
not
the
his
first one out the
business.
gate after Thanksgiving, go, hey, Christmas, my house, boom.
Yeah.
This is the date. Come one, come all.
Most importantly,
Who's going to say,
you're not interfering with his
we're
Christmas.
doing it at so-and-so's house.
Great, you can do that. But if you choose to come here, you can do things my way and see how you like
Yeah,
it too.
I won't be going over
I'm giving
there,
you the option.
having my own Christmas party.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
throwing it out there. And the beauty of that is you give people a chance to see what they could have. I mean,
You could have some of this.
it's pretty appealing.
So I don't know. But anyway, Katie did a good job at her grandparents' house. She did actually
Yeah.
bring a lot of games over. Cash money games, right? Where
Yeah.
actually
Ooh.
we won cash, right?
Oh,
All
we're
these
gambling
different
over there
things,
for
right?
Christmas? Okay.
A lot of fun things. We did this candle blowing contest. Who could blow the candle the hardest? Like there's like a line of candles. Whoever hit it the
Who had the
furthest.
best
I was going to
wins
say,
the
how do you measure it?
prize.
But that makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
you win the prize for whatever candle was
Farthest
like the furthest
ability
thing
to
you blew.
blow.
I blew harder than anybody there.
That doesn't surprise me.
I was pretty impressed. And Katie's sister,
Davis, where are you?
Katie's sister was disappointed because Katie's sister was
no. She
thought
talking
she was
mad
the best
game,
blower.
and she's just
Oh,
like
God.
she's like putting her hair back into a ponytail.
Oh, wow. She's
and
gonna do some
she gets
work.
on her knees and blows the thing. And I was like, and she's like, I'm pretty good at what I do. And I said, watch this, right?
Put her to
I
shame.
get no, I said, let me blow my nose
Attaboy,
first. So I
Joey.
blow my nose.
Clean
and
it up.
I sat there and I said, I'm born with naturally larger
doing
lungs.
chest
Yeah,
exercises.
you're able to do this
My
more.
doctor said I have like lungs the size of a horse. And
Right.
So I start opening up and I crush
Did you
her.
stretch out your jaw?
No,
before
I
you
didn't
did that?
stretch out my
Okay.
jaw. But I only got one
no.
run at it, and
Okay.
I crushed her by like 3 prizes. And so I won
Wow.
some serious money.
Nice.
And then we played some other games, and that was all really, really fun. It's after the games.
Sorry, Neil.
It's after the games, the food, and probably the presents is when I notice that I go, all right, I'm starting to get a little antsy, right?
Oh,
but
boy.
the thing is, I try hard. And so Katie's like, hey, we're going to play some board games now. And I say, I know, and you will continue to play board games for the next 9 hours.
Right.
I'm going to play a couple card games with you,
Then
attempt
take
this,
Lucy and we're gonna go home.
attempt this, and then, and I said, then it's will be time for me to leave. We brought 2 cars for a reason. We always do. And Lucy was
Smart.
fortunately getting tired, so I said, all right, that's kind of my out. But
Yeah.
I think my ideal Christmas is literally do whatever you want to do within a household as long as family is there and have fun. Or it's that activity. I want it to be something a little bit more like that activity is going to be something memorable, fun, or weird, right? Like, for example, right, if the penitentiary was
Totally
open,
agree.
right?
Yeah, you'd want to go there.
And people would be like, so what do you do for Christmas?
We go to the pound. We go to the pen.
We walk the snowy penitentiary. That's kind of weird that you do that on Christmas.
Yeah.
You know what?
Memorable.
We remember that.
Memorable.
I will remember that forever. Or it's like
You should start taking Lucy on those
sledding,
father-daughter.
or
What'd your dad do? He used to take me to the jail, and we'd walk.
At
and
least
tour.
it's something that's
Christmas
not
morning.
some like strictly held.
something.
You know.
Something a little bit less, like I said, less traditional, because it's just a lot of planning, and I feel like both sides of my family get very stressed out. Like my mom gets like, okay, all
It's
right,
not exactly right.
She's like, we're out of cinnamon. I'm like, oh my God, it's not that big of a deal. And then Katie will be like, oh my God, this is happening. So and so's late. I'm like, there's a lot of stress for something that should be just super chill. And
So, to that earlier point, that's what I was trying to argue for you guys: is why are you stressing yourselves out over something that you should be having fun? You shouldn't be stressing.
Yeah.
You should, yeah. But people have different levels. People have different ideas of fun. Some people, weirdly enough, like my wife, enjoys the planning aspect to a certain degree, right? She enjoys the, hey, I decorated these things, I made all these things. That is fun for her. I have to respect that. And whereas for me, I don't really even know what's fun for me. I just like playing with toys and being a big kid.
You gave your kid a bumper car. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Joshua Suarez, thoughts on drying with forced air
Hey, a
after a
detailed
rinseless wash.
question.
Totally fine to do.
Totally
Go
fine.
for it.
Yeah.
No issues
Enjoy
there. Alex Tuar says, I blew harder than anyone there. My God. And then, wow, this live looks a little took a little different direction.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid
Davis,
to anger my
shockingly.
family during the holidays. It's become a tradition. I'm not afraid to anger my anger my family. Wow, okay. Yeah. And then
Joey, I respect
and
that.
then Dino says, yeah, girls are more smart than boys at young age, arguably at older age as well. You never know, right? Girls are pretty smart. My boy is almost 1 year, 4 months old and won't say a thing. Sometimes mom or dad, but that's it.
Oh.
I think that's pretty normal from what I'm realizing.
There's a certain number of words they learn.
You just happen to have a super
milestone.
daughter.
They have different
so-
milestones at different ages.
I have
that's all.
I have a daughter that can say all the different animal names and say multiple words. But I think the thing is, she'll go to a class, right, and other parents see her and they go, "Oh no, like
They're all gonna
my
feel
kid's
inadequate."
not doing that." But then again, there's like I think it's just right when it hits them, they all learn at different ages.
There's all different stuff
and-
too. Like Hadley would do things that she could do better than any other kid.
Yeah.
But then she was verbally challenged
Yeah.
till she was almost 3.
Well, yeah. Well,
So,
I mean, there's
she
people
would-
that we knew here
yeah.
that didn't have their kids didn't talk till they were 2 or didn't say anything until
Yeah.
they were 2, and
Yeah.
they were really worried. But I guess what I'm finding out that is that's more normal,
Yeah.
And the kids end up fine. There's
Yep.
no issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, CJ, second kid learns words faster because of wanting to be like their older brother or sister.
Yeah.
All right, Dane,
Yeah,
take us
that's
home.
it.
I think that's it for today.
Joey, that's a great message to end on. Thank you for that. So this was fun catching up on Christmas. Obviously, you guys should feel free to include your Christmas, things that happen, interesting
Things
stuff.
that
I'm sure
upset
you
you.
got some cool, detailing tools
Christmas
and
is
toys and things.
I don't want people to think that like we hate Christmas.
No,
or
I
that
love it, and that's
it's
why I
a-
want to
it's-
protect it
it's
from
a-
overly precious traditionalist people.
Oh my gosh, Dane. I think you're the most upset.
I'm the
person
most
here.
passionate about it because,
but anyways,
man, I get mad when I
Christmas-
see other people
I
forced
think
into
we,
a box.
We all had a great Christmas.
Yes.
It was wonderful.
It was a good Christmas.
Wouldn't have changed a thing.
I was happy with it.
Yes.
Wouldn't have
I
changed
just
a
wish
thing.
Augie
Okay.
would have felt better.
I know,
That's
I
true.
know.
Poor
That
guy.
was the hardest thing, was having to deal with that.
Oh. All right. And on that note, I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and you're all looking forward to a wonderful new year coming up very soon at the end of this week. And of course, if you haven't already, please hit like on this video. Gets us out in front of more people, helps us out, helps you out, bringing in more questions and comments on this and the Q&A every single week. But don't worry, we do have one show left this week, the Q&A, in fact, on the main Rag Company channel, so you can look forward to
Q&A
that
Thursday.
on Thursday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's it, guys. We'll see you later this week. Have a good one.
Bye.
See ya.